Center Arts is a local nonprofit that provides art supplies and free studio space to anyone in the community. I've been going to Off Center since I was very young, and when I learned about a senior project, I had to do it there. When I was first volunteering at Off Center, I was overwhelmed. I didn't know where anything was, and I constantly felt like I was in the way. Luckily, the staff are excellent at figuring out where each volunteer belongs. They quickly found out that the more social side of Off Center was my strong suit, and I found out I preferred more structured tasks. At the beginning of my time at Off Center, I worked on art kits. These are bags full of art supplies for people to take home. I'd also put away art supplies in the storage rooms and in the studio, as well as sweeping, cleaning out our paint containers, and changing paper off tables. Ashley, my mentor, was really the only staff member I'd interacted with up to this point. That's when I met Dre. She's in charge of the print studio shop. I started to sit in classes and help Dre with gathering supplies and setting up the darkroom. I learned how to screen print and block print. I became so used to the screen printing process that when Dre got sick with COVID, me and Zimmy, another staff member, co-taught the class she had that day. It was also nice in a personal way because screen printing is more of a creative process than what my drawing 1 class at C&M gave me. Both my C&M classes gave me a structured academic process of art. Off Center is a lot more freeing in comparison. I was often asked to think outside the box at Off Center. Even in the most simple tasks can be done with a level of whimsy that is usually not appreciated anywhere else. At Off Center, we have themed galleries that people can submit and sell their artworks at. I started to help design the layout of the gallery. I would also add decorations based on the theme. This was a little treat for myself after having to set up the show. Putting up the gallery ended up being one of my favorite things to do. Back in the main studio space, I was finally getting the hang of where everything was. I started to get more comfortable with the staff and regulars at Off Center. The staff are really kind and are always willing to listen to volunteers and the community about suggestions they have. There are so many times that Dre will come up to me and start asking me what I think we should do about something in the print shop, and we'll just start spitballing ideas. Obviously, not all my ideas get used, but it's still one of my favorite things to do. One of the ideas was about the lack of a logo at Off Center. I came up with the idea to have a community competition for who can create the best logo. Dre really liked this idea and we're planning to set that event up soon. It's really exciting to make both big and small impacts at Off Center. Off-center artists consist mainly of lower-class, disabled, and homeless populations. This makes Off-center even more important as a community center to stay around. It breaks down social barriers between people. At Off-center, parts of the community that would never interact with one another are now put in the same space, sharing tables and talking to each other. Off Center is ever evolving. We are constantly moving things around in the studio to where it makes the most sense. We recently moved the sewing areas and combined our storage rooms to make one of them a classroom. Zimmy recently painted the bathrooms, and we are planning on painting a mural in the print studio, as well as growing a garden in the back. Our community is always changing as well. There's a certain set of regulars we get in the studio. Some move or die, others drop off the face of the earth only to come back a year later. Volunteers are always coming and going. I find myself asking about fellow volunteers when I haven't seen them in a while. It always hits hard to hear about a volunteer or a regular that has passed on, even when I didn't know them well or at all. You hear about them through others, and the memory and art is passed on. That's really what Off Center is, more than just a nonprofit art space. It's a community. My name's Aradia. Let's create something together.